In today's episode, we're talking about stop manifesting money. Welcome back to another Money Minds episode with Gull Khan. Today, I want to talk about something really interesting and something that may get me thrown out the manifestation community. I may even lose my spiritual membership card. Someone may confiscate my crystals. I actually don't have any crystals, but I'm going to say it anyway. Stop manifesting money. Yes, I said it. Stop manifesting money. Now, before somebody starts shouting, but go, you teach about money. You teach about money mindset. Yes, I do. Go, you believe in manifestation. Yes, I do. But go, you believe your thoughts create your reality. Yes, I do. Absolutely. Absolutely, it does. But I think we have completely misunderstood what manifestation actually means. Because somewhere along the lines, that manifestation has become think about £10,000, write £10,000 in your journal 55 times, and put 10,000 on your vision board. Meditate about 10,000, visualize 10,000, sleep with affirmation under your pillow saying, money comes to me easily and effortlessly. And then wake up the next morning, check your banking app, and guess what? £14.72. Refresh. Guess what? £14.72. Refresh again. Refresh again. Maybe Barclays hasn't received the message from the universe yet. Refresh again. Guess what? Still £14.72. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not manifestation. This is stalking your bank account. So let's get real. So today I want to talk to you about why constantly trying to manifest money can actually keep you focused on the very thing you don't want, the absence of money. Because here's the paradox. The more desperate you try to manifest money, the more you may be telling yourself, I don't have enough. And if your dominant emotional state is, I don't have enough money, I need more. Where is it? Why isn't it coming? Where is it? Why isn't it here? Why is it, when is it coming? Why does everyone else have it? Why don't I have it? Then you are not living in abundance. You are living in a state of lack, wearing a manifestation hat. Which, by the way, unfortunately, the universe is not fooled by accessories. Yeah? So let's talk about you don't actually want money. Let's start with something very, very important. Most people don't actually want money. I know that sounds ridiculous, but stay with me. Of course, you want money. I want money. I like money. I'm very fond of money. Money and I are working and have been working for quite some time now on a long term committed relationship. Actually, we're best friends. But money is, for me, is just a tool. Think about it. If I gave you £10 million, but said you cannot spend it, you cannot invest it, you cannot give it away, you cannot use it, you can only look at the number in the bank account, would you still want it? Maybe for about 10 minutes. You'd open the banking app, look at the zeros, take a screenshot, zoom in, get happy, have smiling ear to ear for about 10 minutes, and maybe even frame it, you know? But that's it. Then what? Then what? The money itself is meaningless. What you actually want is what you believe money will give you. And for me, two words have always mattered enormously: freedom and independence. Freedom of choice, freedom to decide where I live, freedom to decide what work I do, freedom to travel, freedom to help my children, freedom to leave situations that no longer serve me, freedom to say no, freedom to say yes, and most importantly, independence. The ability to stand on my own two feet. The ability to know that when my survival, my choices, my future are not dependent on somebody else deciding whether I deserve access to money. That is powerful. When somebody says, I want to manifest 1 million, my question is, why? Why? What does 1 million represent to you? Security? Freedom? Status? Validation? Power? Peace? What? Choices? What does it represent to you? Because unless you understand what you actually want the money for, you can spend your entire life chasing numbers. First, you want 10,000, then you want 100,000, then you want 1 million, then 10 million. And eventually, you're sitting on a yacht somewhere thinking, maybe if I had 50 million, I'd finally feel safe. But no, you wouldn't, because you never felt, you never dealt with the fear underneath it. And money only amplifies it. Unfortunately, it does not automatically heal it. And that's powerful. And that's something very important to remember. The problem with desperate manifestation, there's a huge difference between desire and desperation. Desire says, I want to, I would love to create this. I would love to create it. Desperation says, I need this to happen today or now, otherwise I'm not okay. And money can smell desperation from 3 postcodes away. Seriously, right? Have you ever desperately needed money? And suddenly the bills feel enormous. Every expense is, becomes personal. The boiler breaks down, of course it does. The car needs something, obviously. Then somebody sends you an unexpected invoice for some God knows what, and you're looking at the ceiling thinking, God, seriously, honestly, wow, really? But, I wonder if this is character building. Because I think I've developed my character enough, right? But what happens? Your nervous system goes into survival mode. You stop thinking expansively. You start thinking reactively. You don't see opportunities, you see threats. You don't make strategic decisions. You make urgent decisions. And urgent decisions are often expensive decisions. And this is why manifesting harder is sometimes the worst advice. Sometimes you don't need another affirmation. You need to regulate yourself. You need to look at the numbers. You need to make a decision. You need to send the invoice. You need to make the sales call. You need to increase your prices. You need to find a strategy that can work for you. You need to cut unnecessary expenses. You need to ask for help. You need to learn a skill. You need to build something. You need to negotiate. You need to apply. You need to sell. You need to do something, right? You need to move. You need to take action. And action matters. You cannot meditate your way out of every financial problem. It just doesn't work that way. Sometimes God is answering your prayer through an opportunity, but you're too busy ignoring that email because you're too busy looking at your vision board. Seriously. Manifestation is not magic delivery. I believe in manifestation, I really do. But don't believe manifestation means sitting in your sofa thinking about a Ferrari and then one appears. If that worked, every teenage boy would own a Lamborghini. Manifestation to me is alignment between what you believe, what you expect, and what you allow, right? And then eventually, most importantly, what you do, the actions you take. This last one seems to get forgotten along the way. What you do, right? There is a beautiful Islamic principle that I love. Trust in Allah, but tie your camel. And some of us are out here saying, Allah, please protect my camel, while the camel is running halfway down the M25, right? It doesn't work. You have to tie the camel. So faith and action are not opposites. They belong together. They belong together. The Quran teaches that Allah does not change the condition of people until they change what is within themselves. Think about that. There is an internal change and an external change. Belief matters. Identity matters. Thoughts matter. But then the movement follows. So manifestation is not, I thought about money and therefore money must arrive. It is, I changed the way I see myself. I changed what I believe is possible. I changed what I tolerate. I changed how I behave. I changed the decisions I make. And because I've changed, my outcomes began to change. That is manifestation in its true sense. Now, I want you to stop manifesting money, but manifest capacity instead. Let me explain. So here's what I think you should focus on instead. Stop asking, how do I manifest money? Start asking, what do I need to do and what do I need to become in order to hold money? That is a very different question because earning money is one skill. Keeping money is another. Growing money is another. Managing money is another. Emotionally being able to hold wealth without sabotaging yourself is another. And Here's another skill. You can manifest 100,000. Fantastic, right? Can you keep it, right? Look at lottery winners, right? Can you keep it? Can you manage it? Can you invest it? Can you make sensible decisions with it? Or will you immediately increase your lifestyle to 110,000? Because humans are fascinating, absolutely fascinating. We say, when I earn money, I'll save. Really? Then we earn more money, and suddenly, guess what we discover? Better hotels, business class, handbags, skincare, right? Restaurants where you bring, where they bring you one asparagus on a giant plate and charge you £38. Lifestyle inflation is incredibly efficient. Your income goes up, but guess what? Somehow your expenses are waiting at the finish line saying, we've been expecting you. So don't just manifest money. Build the capacity to hold money, to hold wealth. Ask yourself, if 1 million landed in my bank account tomorrow, would I know what to do with it? Would I feel comfortable having it? Would I feel guilty? Would I immediately give it away? Would I hide it? Would I spend it? Would I sabotage it? Would I suddenly have 47 cousins with business opportunities? So, guess what, guys? Your capacity matters. Manifest the person, not the number. This is one of the biggest shifts I want you to make. Instead of manifesting the number, manifest the identity. Who is the person who naturally creates that level of wealth? How does she think? How does she behave? How does she, what does she tolerate? What does she no longer tolerate? What conversations does she have? What decisions does she make? Quickly, of course. What does she stop procrastinating on? What skills has she developed? What boundaries does she have? What risks is she willing to take? That's the key. That's a really important one. Because your next financial level usually requires a different version of you. And I've seen this in my own life. There are many times when I've had to step into a business situations and challenges where I genuinely did not know how to handle it. Sometimes I didn't know half the answers. Sometimes I wasn't entirely sure what the question was, seriously. But I had to learn. I had to adapt. I had to make decisions. I had to become someone capable of dealing with a bigger reality. Let me share an insight from my own life. When I first came into my current business, I am not from the engineering background. So I had no clue, let alone knowing the answers. I actually didn't know what questions I should be asking. I didn't even know the questions. So how the hell am I going to know the answers, right? It was a complete new area. It was a complete new field, and I was lost. And I had to somehow pick things up, learn, actually do exponential learning, learn about this kind of business, and very quickly adapt the environment in order for me to be able to run this business successfully. And I have managed it, but it was a lot of learning. And I didn't become the person I am just by sitting on my chair and manifesting, to God and asking God to help me and to show me and to bring money into my life. I asked the right questions. I asked Allah for guidance. I asked Allah, show me what I need to learn. Show me what I need to do. Where do I go from here? Who can I ask for help? And I did both. So I asked Allah for guidance and help, and then I listened to that guidance that came through. That's usually a whisper, by the way. So it's like whispering is your intuition. And then I acted on those intuition, on the intuitive guidance. I acted upon it. And not only that, I sought guidance for people around me. I sought for guidance for people who, were within the company, and asked for guidance within the company. I had no issue with owning to the fact that I was a beginner and everybody in the company had more knowledge than I. So I was able to go and ask for guidance from them. And slowly but surely, I was able to put pieces together in order to be able to, ask the right questions, let alone forgetting the answers. Let's figure out the questions first. And slowly but surely, the answers began to come to me as well. So it wasn't easy, but oh boy, it was useful. And it's grown me into the person I am today. And it's learning that new skill set, allowing myself to become the person who is able to run that kind of business, has made me who I am. It's grown me as an individual. And it's given me so much confidence in terms of who and what I'm capable of. And that is priceless. So can wealth match that? Hell no. Do I still want money? Absolutely. But it's the character development you're after. It's who I became in the process, which is more important. And need I say, I became more interesting as well? Because you do as you grow, as you develop yourself, you develop a new aspect of who you are, and it makes you shine better, be more interesting. All of those things, right? So what I'm trying to say is that growth is manifestation. We keep waiting for external evidence, but sometimes the first thing that manifests is you. Your courage, your resilience, your discernment, your confidence, your willingness to walk away, your ability to survive uncertainty, your ability to rebuild. That person can create money again and again and again. And that is much more powerful than manifesting one check. Stop asking for money. Ask for opportunity. Here's another shift. Instead of saying, God, send me £100,000, try, God, show me an opportunity that can create £100,000. A very different prayer because opportunity rarely arrives looking for money. They often arrive looking for work. Annoying, isn't it? I know. We want divine abundance. God sends responsibility. We say, no, 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 no. I ordered abundance. And God says, yes, that's the package. Opportunity may arrive disguised as a difficult conversation, a new client, unusual opportunity, a new business idea, a job opportunity, a partnership, a problem that needs solving. Oh my God, that's very it's very personal to me. That happens to me a lot. A skill you need to learn, a door closing, a person leaving, failure, and even betrayal. Some of the biggest financial shifts in our lives come from moments when we initially thought we were disasters. We thought they were complete disasters. I've experienced this time and time again when things have ended in my life. Something broke, something didn't work, and at the time I couldn't see why. But later I could see what it forced me to become. I'm going to share something else again here. I remember the most financially difficult time for me was when I left my ex-husband. I was fully financially dependent on him, and he was playing the financial card, financially blackmailing him to not leaving him, basically, to stay in that marriage and to accept a polygamous marriage. He wanted to have a second wife, and he wanted me to stay with him, stay in that marriage, along with fully accepting his girlfriend to, accepting his girlfriend, not accepting it, but allowing him to marry the girlfriend as second wife. And he played it well, you know. Credit due, give credit where credit is due. He played that card very, very well. He knew exactly how to manipulate the situation in a way that there was no way that even the courts could give me the money because he had the money so well, just various things that he did. And I was at the bottom. I was close to bankruptcy. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any source of income at all. And I had to feed my kids, pay the mortgage, and move forward in a way. And I hadn't a clue. And keep in mind, up until that moment, every single business I tried failed miserably. I mean, like miserably. Prior to this, I had lost over £100,000 trying to set up a care home business with a cousin of mine, and that failed miserably, like terribly. And I had to hear a lot about that from my ex-husband because he thought I was, I couldn't, I couldn't. He honestly did not believe that I could run a business after that, and so did I, actually, to be honest, because I failed so miserably trying to set that one up. But yeah, it was tough. What happened? I didn't give up. I asked Allah for guidance. I remember asking Allah for help. I didn't ask Allah, Allah, give me money. I said, Allah, show me what I need to do. What do I need to create? Give me an opportunity that I can work with. Show me a path that I can follow. I remember saying these exact words. And I remember not knowing where the next meal was coming from because I had such lack of money and there was no one I could turn to, not a family member, not brother, no father, nothing. I wasn't, my father had the money, but he never supported me. My brother didn't either. So I had literally no one to even, no one even asked me, do I even have enough money to, I've got two young children, do I have enough money to even cover groceries? Like no one said that. No one offered or support anything like that. And I was literally cornered in a way that I was thinking of going back to law. I remember applying to a few jobs. And I remember thinking, I'm going to be away from these two young souls. And I really don't want to. What can I do? And now looking back at it, that was probably the toughest time in my life because I had two young mouths to feed and I didn't want to leave them. And it was a tough decision to make. Keep in mind that I didn't have any prior business, well, I had prior business experience, but it all failed. Every single one of my businesses prior to that failed miserably. And I wasn't sure if I could, you know, do it on my own. So I asked guidance, I asked for help, and I listened to that guidance. I trusted in that guidance, and I believed I could do it. So I became the person who was able to have and run a successful business before I had a successful business. And I listened to the guidance. And as I became that person, physically, emotionally, eventually, financially, I became that person because money started pouring in. And this is key. And therefore, what I want you to understand, sometimes these setbacks are not there to crush you, to belittle you, to demoralize you, to make you feel small. These setbacks, these hardships, these disasters, you can call them, are actually opportunities for you to develop your character, to develop yourself, to become the person you need to be in order to live the life that you want to live. And this is key. And so sometimes the blessing is in the money, sometimes the blessing is the push. Money doesn't come from the universe, it moves through people. Now let's get practical. Money usually comes through value exchange. People pay because you bring something of value to them or you do something that creates value, right? You solve a problem, you provide a service, you create convenience, you create transformation, you create entertainment, you build something, you manufacture something like we do, you teach something like I do, you invest, you organize, you lead, you sell, you create value. So instead of constantly asking, how can I attract more money? What you should be asking is, how can I create more value? This is key. That question can change your financial life. Because if you want to create 1 million, 1 million pounds, $1 million, whatever it is, somewhere, somehow, you probably need to create more than £1 million worth of perceived value. That doesn't mean working yourself into the ground. Absolutely not. It means leverage, better systems, better offers, better positioning, better investments, better leadership, better decisions, bigger problems, solutions to bigger problems. Because generally, the bigger the problem you can solve, the more value the more value to that solution. So the bigger the problem you can solve, the more valuable the solution. Nobody becomes incredibly wealthy solving problems that nobody cares about, right? Imagine pitching investors. I have developed a revolutionary system for organizing teaspoons alphabetically. Wonderful. Not sure about the market size though. Money follows value. So ask, what problem or problems am I capable of solving? And what bigger problem am I willing to learn to solve? If you are enjoying today's episode and you would like to learn more about how I can support you, I'd love to invite you to join my free school community. Inside, you'll find free training on money mindset, wealth creation, business, spirituality, and personal growth, along with an amazing community of like minded people on the same journey. The link is in the description. I'd love to see you there. Now, let's get back to today's episode. Gratitude before the money. Here's another reason I want you to stop obsessively manifesting money. Because obsession with what you don't have can blind you to what you do already have. Gratitude is central to abundance. The Quran says, if you are grateful, I will surely increase you. Nice. Notice something? It doesn't say, if you complain constantly while refreshing your banking app, I will surely increase you. It doesn't do that. Gratitude first. Increase follows. And gratitude is not pretending everything's perfect. You can be grateful and ambitious. You can appreciate what you have and desire more. You can say, Alhamdulillah for everything I have, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I'm ready for expansion, like I do all the time. Those things are not contradictory. But gratitude changes your emotional relationship with money. Instead of there is never enough, you begin to see I have resources, I have skills, I have experience, I have relationships, I have ideas, I have survived this before, I can create again. That is abundance. Sometimes we count money, but we forget to count assets that don't appear on the balance sheet, which are actually more valuable. And these can be and should be your intelligence, your experience, your reputation, your resilience, your ability to learn, your network, your courage, your faith, your health, your time, your creativity. And those things actually create money. Detach from the how. One thing I do believe deeply about manifestation that we have become far too attached to how something must happen. We say, I want 100,000 and it must come through this client by this date, through this exact business, in this exact way, right? That's not faith. That is a micromanaging God, right? And I don't know about you, but I've discovered that God does not seem particularly interested in following my projected plan, right? I've had plans, beautiful plans, spreadsheets, timelines, color coding, and life has looked at my spreadsheet and said, "That's adorable. That's so cute." But sometimes what you want comes from somewhere completely unexpected. A conversation, a person, a business, an idea, the door you weren't even looking at. This is where faith becomes incredibly important. Do the work. Do the work. Do the work and then take action. Build the capacity. But don't become so obsessed with one route that you miss the road opening up beside you or ahead of you. Your nervous system has to feel safe with money. This is something that is not discussed enough, I believe. You can consciously want wealth while subconsciously feeling unsafe with it. Maybe growing up with money caused arguments. Maybe wealthy people were criticized. Maybe you were taught money changes people. Rich people are greedy. People like us don't have money. Money is difficult to earn, right? These are all limiting beliefs. You have to work hard for every penny. Perhaps you saw money as being used to control you. Then consciously you say, I want to be wealthy. But subconsciously, your brain says, wealth means danger. That creates conflict. You make money, then you lose it. You get opportunities, then you sabotage them. You increase your income, but then you immediately increase your expenses. You almost reach to the next level, then something happens. And this is why money mindset work is not simply repeating, I am a millionaire. Your subconscious is sitting there saying, no, you're not Susan. No, you're not Gull. No, you're not Amanda. You need to work more. Affirmations can help, absolutely they can, but you also need evidence. You need to see new behaviors. You need to show yourself, I can hold money safely. I can make sensible decisions. I can have money and remain good as a good person. I can be wealthy and generous. I can have wealth without losing my spirituality. I can have money without allowing it to control me. Manifest discipline because consistency beats excitement. Manifest relationships. The right people can transform your life. Manifest skills. Skills create value. Manifest peace. Because what is the point of having a million if your nervous system is constantly in chaos? And yes, manifest freedom. For me, that is one of the greatest forms of wealth. That is a real money mindset work. Using spirituality to avoid reality. Now, this part may sting a little bit. Sometimes manifestation becomes spiritual avoidance. You know your business isn't making enough money. So instead of looking at the numbers, you buy another manifestation course. You know you need more clients, but instead of selling, you cleanse your office with sage. Nothing wrong with sage, not at all. But sage cannot close a sales call. You know your pricing is too low, but instead of increasing your prices, you make a money altar. Again, lovely altar, very aesthetic, right? But you have to send that proposal, right? We have to stop using spirituality as a substitute for strategy. You use both. I'm not saying don't make the altar. I'm not saying don't pray. I'm not saying not manifest or whatever. But you can pray and then plan, visualize and then execute, believe and then build, trust and then take action. See what I'm going with this? Faith should make you braver in reality, not absent from it. Okay, you need to see what you need to do, take action, and have faith that it's going to work out for you. What you should manifest instead. So I'm telling you to stop manifesting money. What should you focus on? Manifest clarity. Clarity about what you actually want. Manifest courage. Because wealth often requires difficult decisions. Manifest opportunity. Why not? The ability to recognize doors when they're open. Manifest discernment. Because not every opportunity is your opportunity. Manifest capacity, the ability to hold more responsibility, wealth, and influence. Manifest wisdom, because making money without wisdom can be very expensive. The ability to choose. Money will follow. Here is the beautiful part. When you stop chasing money as if it's running away from you, and you start becoming someone who creates value, sees opportunities, takes action, makes better decisions, has stronger boundaries, and most importantly, understands money and respects money and believes she is capable of holding wealth, money often becomes a result, not the obsession. The result? Think about the difference. One person wakes up thinking, how do I make more money today? Another wakes up thinking, what can I build today? What problems can I solve? What opportunities can I create? Who can I help? What decisions have I been avoiding? What assets can I develop? What skills can I improve? What can I do today for my future wealthy self would thank me for? These questions create a very different life. I'm now going to leave you with a 30-day challenge. I want to give you a challenge for the next 30 days. Stop asking, how do I manifest money? Instead, every single morning, ask yourself 3 questions. 1, what value can I create today? Number 2, what opportunity is already in front of me that I may be ignoring? Number 3, what would the financially powerful version of me do today? And then we'll do one thing, not 47 things, just one more. Send the email, make the call, apply for the opportunity, review your finances, increase the price or prices, plan a strategy, Create the offer, learn the skill, have the conversation, cancel the unnecessary expense, start investing, ask for the sale, negotiate, follow up. Take one action every single day. 30 days, 30 actions. Now imagine doing that for a whole year. 365 aligned financial actions. Do you think your financial life might look a little different? Of course it would. And you would need to write, I am a millionaire, 55 times every morning until your hand is cramped. So, should you stop believing in manifestation? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I believe our thoughts matter. I believe our beliefs matter. I believe our intentions matter. I believe our energy matters. I believe prayer matters. I believe faith matters. I believe what we expect from life influences what we recognize, what we attempt, and what we allow ourselves. I also believe in responsibility, action, strategy, courage, discipline, and of course, becoming. So stop manifesting money. Manifest the woman who knows how to create, or man, to be honest. Manifest the person who can hold it. Manifest the wisdom to grow it. Manifest the courage to make difficult decisions. Manifest the eyes to recognize opportunities. Manifest the faith to move before you have every answer. Manifest the discipline to keep going when excitement wears off. Manifest the strength to walk away from situations where money is being used to control you. Manifest the freedom to choose your own will, to choose your own life. Because money is not the destination. Money is a tool. Let me repeat that. Money is a tool. And when you understand that, you stop putting money on a pedestal and you stop begging it to come to you. You stop chasing it. You stop making it responsible for your happiness, your worth, and your identity. Instead, you become the person. You become someone who knows how to create value, someone who knows how to receive, someone who knows how to hold money, someone who knows how to grow money, someone who knows how to use wealth with purpose. So maybe tonight, instead of asking, where is my money? Ask, who am I becoming? Because perhaps the greatest thing you can manifest is not £1,000,000. It's becoming the person who can create £1,000,000 or lose 1,000,000 and know that she has the wisdom, faith, courage, and the capacity to make it again. That is wealth. Until the next time we meet, this is Gull Khan signing off. Stay abundant, stay happy, and become the most amazing version of yourself. In the process, you'll become exceptionally wealthy. Till the next time we meet, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who you think might need to hear this message. And if you'd like to continue the conversation, come and join my free school community. The link is in the description below, where you will find free training, live sessions, and an incredible community, all focused on creating wealth, purpose, and freedom. Remember, abundance isn't about the money you have, it's about the life you create, the impact you make, and the person you become along the way. Until the next time, take care of yourself, keep glowing, keep growing, keep believing, and as always, stay abundant. Assalamu alaikum.